What's going on, everyone? So, Daniel Gafford might be a Los Angeles Laker next season. So there is audio going around of, the Luka game, and you see him kind of talking to all the various players and stuff. And Spencer Dinwiddie, for example, was explaining like, "Hey, dude, you just had the largest comeback point scoring in NBA history with your 45." And you see him kind of going through the motions, get some audio clips and sound bites of LeBron and stuff. So you get kind of this the aftermath. Game's over, kind of the aftermath, all the commotion going on, but. Luka's going down the aisle, saying his farewells to his former teammates and stuff, and the people that he was in the trenches with not that long ago, right? And he loves these guys, he cares for these guys, so he's going down the line, doing all that, and then he gets to Daniel Gafford, and he says, now again, it's a little muffled, you got all this noise and commotion going on, but these sound bites have done a pretty good job of isolating, especially with today's technology. You can isolate specific things and, amplify it. And he clearly says, we'll play again, right? So, of course, that is leading everyone down the rabbit hole of, is Daniel Gafford going to be a Los Angeles Laker? Now, it is very possible. Lakers do need a center, right? Lakers had interest in Daniel Gafford before the Dallas Mavericks went and, traded for him. Also, Daniel Gafford and Luka have that chemistry. They have that relationship. On top of that, Daniel Gafford is the kind of ideal prototype of a center that you would want, right? Now, I do want to say that there have been Dallas outlets and stuff like that have proposed the idea even before this soundbite. I mean, for a month now, maybe longer. And I think a lot of it is just because they're upset. But I've seen a lot of people talking about on the Dallas side of things. A lot of people talking about trading Daniel Gafford plus pieces and whatever you have to, whatever the cost is to go get Austin Reaves. I don't think that happens. I don't think the Lakers would trade Austin Reaves to go for Dan. I'm not saying that they would never trade him. Again, I don't think anyone's untouchable, but as good as Austin Reaves has been, I don't see them trading him for a Daniel Gafford package. I think if they trade Reaves, it's going to be for something of significance, right? Because they could go, worst case scenario, you'd probably just go get Mark Williams again, right? And go get him, and you wouldn't have to trade Dalton Connect again, which I know some people are against that, but you still keep Reaves. I will say, though, Lakers are going to need to make a decision about Austin Reaves, because Austin Reaves is going into a contract year next year, and B, is probably going to make a lot of money. To the point where Lakers, he may end up being, you're going to have to make a decision. Is he your B guy alongside Luka for the long term, right? Or do you look at him kind of more as a 3 and, a C type of guy, and so you need to find your B, but if he's getting A, B money, so Lakers are going to have to make some decisions. But even then, even if the Lakers were to go hey, maybe we should explore the Austin Reaves market, I think they'd want which you would probably get a significant return. The issue is Austin Reaves' contract is just so small right now. Personally, right? And I'm not against trading Austin Reaves, but I wouldn't trade Austin Reaves for even a Daniel Gafford. Who else are you going to get? Even if you were to get PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, I'd rather just keep Reaves. I think you can get more value for him if you were going to trade him. And I think you can get a serviceable center. Now, Daniel Gafford is young. He's 26. He'll be 27 next October. So going into next season, he'll be 27. So you'd have a guy that Luka's familiar with that would play. If you can get Daniel Gafford, I'm all for getting Daniel Gafford. I would love to get Daniel Gafford. And Dallas may be open to trading Daniel Gafford because Derek Lively will be back, and now they have Anthony Davis. So you can always slide AD to the 5, which you've seen Dallas do a lot, and then have Derek Lively. So you could start Lively with AD, and then when Lively goes bench, just slide AD to the 5 and kind of monitor it that way, right? So I don't think Daniel Gafford would be off the table, but like I said, I saw a lot of Austin Reaves for a Daniel Gafford package. Not a swap, but it'd be Daniel Gafford plus picks or whatever. I don't think the Lakers would go for that. I wouldn't go for that. Right? I think you could get another center on the market and still keep Austin Reaves. Right? You don't need some superstar center. You just need somebody that makes sense alongside Luka. I mean, they could still get, which isn't really the Luka prototype, but there's still a real chance they might get Miles Turner in the offseason because LeBron's willing to take a discount. The cap is supposed to go up 10%, which is like roughly like $14 million. Right, guys are falling off. Lakers have a bunch of expiring contracts, so they could deal some stuff if need be. Like Lakers could get. I'm not worried about them getting a center. Is my point in the offseason. But Daniel Gafford, I would love to have. I mean, he's exactly what the Lakers need. Right? Can protect the rim, big physical interior force, could be that lob threat, floor running big. He's got good size, good strength, good versatility. No, he's not really like a shooter or anything like that, but he's 6'10", 260, 265. So he has the size to bang with the big boys. Can be that lob threat that you want alongside Luka. And kind of just, he's basically what we want Jackson Hayes to be. Right? But you look at this season, for example, kind of going over his stats. 21.6 minutes per game, 56 games played, 7 field goal attempts per game. He's shooting 70%. Doesn't shoot any threes. He's not a floor stretching guy. But Luka he's not worried about the traffic, right? Where a guy like LeBron, he wants the floor cleared so he can drive and just get to the basket or kick out to the shooters. Luka kind of likes the traffic because he can collapse the defense, and then that's where the lob threat becomes effective, right? So it's just different styles of play. So Daniel Gafford not being able to shoot threes is not a problem for Luka, at least, right? So again, 70% from 2-point range, EFG of 70%. All the numbers across the board are 70%. Free throw shooting, he's not a good free throw shooter, but this season he's averaging 3.4 attempts per game. He's 68.6%. His best season as a free throw shooter was 70.6% when he was with Washington right before the Dallas trade. Rebounds, 6.8 rebounds, 1.4 assists, half a steal, almost 2 blocks, 1.8 blocks. Again, this is in 21 minutes, right? With 12.2 points per game. So to kind of further add to this, his per 36, which again, doesn't give you everything you need to know, but it kind of gives you an idea. If he was our starting center and getting around 30 minutes a game, roughly these would be his numbers. So he would be a 20-point, 11.5 rebound guy with 2.5 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks per game. Like, I think that would be fantastic. So again, I'm all for going and bringing in Daniel Gafford if you can make it work, right? I wouldn't give up. I'm not selling the farm for Daniel Gafford, right? Like, but if you had to give up, a first or something like, sure, right? Like, if there's not other options out there, because he's still young, he's very talented, he could be your starting center, he plays well off of Luke. Like, you have a lot of built-in advantages that come immediately just by going and getting a guy like Daniel Gafford. So I do like the idea of him, but contract-wise, right? Because the other side of it is like, okay, well, what if he signs with the Lakers? Like, what if they don't get him? So he is going into the final year of his deal at $14.3 million, and then he becomes a restricted free agent in 2026, 2027. So there is a couple added benefits to this. One, he could, if he wanted to, force his way to the Lakers, right? Because he's in a contract year. So he could say, hey, I'm not going to re-sign here. Get something for me while you can, and I only want to go to the Lakers. Now, usually you see stars do that, but role guys have done it before, right? Like, and if no team is going to go and sell the farm for him to go and he leaves and goes and signs with the Lakers, which the Lakers would be able to free up the money to go and get him, and they can make that work, right? So if you're the Lakers, and Luka and Gafford are buddies, right? A little like, hey, in the offseason, tell him you want to be traded to Lakers, right? And we got our boy Nico. Shout outs to Nico. But no, in all seriousness, so that's an option. Or worst case scenario, you get that guy and maybe Gafford is, your backup or something. I don't know how long he'd want to be a backup, but, or if you miss out this season on a center and you're not, which I think the Lakers will be able to get. But I also think, and I've said this before, whoever the Lakers get at the center position, it's probably going to be via a trade, right? Because there's just not this well of centers that make sense. Like, Clint Capella is somebody that I wouldn't mind having. I don't really necessarily like him as your starting center, but like break glass in case of emergency type thing, like fine, give me Clint Capella. I would love him as a backup though, right? Like, so if you could go and say trade for Daniel Gafford in the offseason, right? And then like sign Clint Capella to, whatever, a 3-year, $30 million deal or something like that. And now you have Daniel Gafford and Clint Capella as your two kind of centers, you're set at the center spot. Because, if Daniel Gafford misses any games, Clint Capella come in and vice versa. And then also when Daniel Gafford goes to the bench, you can put in Clint Capella. And you got two of the better offensive rebounding centers, two centers that can block shots, do everything. I mean, I imagine Clint Capella would try to look for a starting center spot, but no, there's not going to be a huge market for that. So again, I if the Lakers can pull off Daniel Gafford, it might take a little pushing from Daniel Gafford, but he loves Luka, right? And, and also, like I said, Dallas could look at it as like, okay, we have Derek Lively and we have Anthony Davis. So we don't need, we get another serviceable backup center, right? We can play AD at the 5. So we start AD at the 4 and then play him in spots at the 5. Go get another, backup center for whatever reason. So I think I wouldn't be shocked if it's a possibility. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle. Do you love the idea of Daniel Gafford? Do you not? Love to hear it either way down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot as we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.